Clever. The Dark Knight Rises theory suggests the reason why Bruce Wayne returns safe and sound at the end is because he used a fantastical piece of DC Comics Batman lore. Batman appears to make the ultimate sacrifice in The Dark Knight Rises ending, where he flies a nuclear bomb out into the sea with the Batwing. Yet, Alfred Pennyworth sees Bruce Wayne dining with Selina Kyle at a restaurant in Italy soon after, seemingly living a peaceful life after putting an end to his Batman persona. The Dark Knight Rises emotional ending can be read at least two different ways. In the literal way, Bruce Wayne probably uses the Batwing's autopilot function to escape the aircraft before the nuclear bomb explodes, after which he takes part of his wealth to rebuild his life alongside Selina Kyle abroad. A more figurative interpretation of The Dark Knight Rises ending poses that Alfred is simply imagining Bruce Wayne having the happy life the hero always deserved, probably as the final step in Alfred's grieving process. However, a third possibility introduces the Nolanverse adaptation of a famous DC Comics device. The Dark Knight Rises theory has Batman be saved by a Lazarus Pit. The Dark Knight Rises might have two different versions of the legendary Lazarus Pit. Bruce and Selina at a cafe in The Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight Rises introduces the Pit as the underground prison where Bane and Talia al Ghul were held prisoners. After Bane sends Bruce Wayne to the Pit and Wayne manages to climb out of it despite his severe back injuries, the Pit becomes a clear symbol of rebirth. Therefore, it could be said that The Dark Knight Rises Pit prison is the Dark Knight trilogy's realistic adaptation of the Lazarus Pit, a pool of chemicals that can bring any dead character back to life in DC Comics. However, there's also the possibility that Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne had either discovered or created a more grounded version of the Lazarus Pit before The Dark Knight Rises' final battle. Bruce Wayne had previously struggled with physical ailments derived from his battles, and his impressively quick return to form after having his back broken by Bane suggests that he employed a state-of-the-art recovery device or technique between his escape from the Pit and his arrival in Gotham. The Dark Knight Rises Lazarus Pit theory would explain how Batman survived the final movie. Bruce Wayne looks far too healthy during The Dark Knight Rises ending. Apart from his recently broken back, Batman was stabbed by Talia al Ghul in The Dark Knight Rises' final battle, leaving him severely weakened before he hopped on the Batwing and flew the nuclear bomb away from Gotham. Jumping from the Batwing after activating the plane's autopilot in this state is a difficult task, and it could result in several new injuries that Bruce Wayne doesn't seem to have when Alfred sees him in Italy. Perhaps Bruce Wayne perfected the Lazarus Pit and healed all his injuries before he abandoned Gotham and started over. For Bruce Wayne's broken back, stab wound, and escape from the nuclear bomb explosion are on a completely different level of severity compared to his injured knee, which required him to seek expert medical help and get a brace implanted on his leg. Shortly after, Bruce Wayne is able to brush off a broken back and seemingly escape from a nuclear explosion. In Christopher Nolan's ultra-realistic The Dark Knight universe, a realistic version of the Lazarus Pit could explain how Batman was able to heal so quickly. Maybe this Lazarus Pit is a highly advanced healing pod or a new brand of medicine. Why the Dark Knight Rises theory doesn't seem likely. The Dark Knight trilogy doesn't have any solid hints to the Lazarus Pit's existence. Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne and Batman with a purple hue custom image by Debanjana Chowdhury. Although some version of the Lazarus Pit would help explain why Bruce Wayne looks so healthy at the end of The Dark Knight Rises, the existence of any kind of Lazarus Pit goes against the trilogy's ultra-realistic tone. Christian Bale's Batman is much weaker and more vulnerable than most other live-action Batmen, not because he's less capable, but because he's the most realistic iteration of the Dark Knight on the big screen. In the Dark Knight universe, a healing device or process as fast and efficient as DC Comics' Lazarus Pit is highly unlikely. Besides, Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy has very little room for a Lazarus Pit setup. The Dark Knight Rises added a short moment where Morgan Freeman's Lucius Fox is told that Bruce Wayne fixed the autopilot feature in the Batwing some time before his sacrifice, suggesting that Wayne actually survived the nuclear explosion. Had Bruce Wayne employed any device similar to the Lazarus Pit, Christopher Nolan would likely have added a hint to its existence.